Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn a new topic or a new lesson, that is lesson number 5 of history, that is religious trade in ancient India. So, as you know, in the last mm, lecture, we have studied the lesson number 4, that is Vedic civilization, and in that we saw many thing how the people lived and how the literature worked and how the rituals, how the religious or how the political way it was. So we have studied that, and today today we are going to study the religious trend which took a different position from Vedic one regarding yajna rites and varna system. Okay, whatever the in the last chapter we have studied about the yajnas and varnas. So now in this chapter we are going to see some religious trend in the ancient India. Okay, when the Vedic period got ended, all the importance was given to the priest. Okay, the priest had a classic knowledge of all the details, means whatever the yajnas and whatever there. So the whatever the common man was there, he was not able or he was not having any freedom to gain about that knowledge. Means whatever the knowledge was taught, the common man would not get it very easily, so it found very difficult to understand him. Means whatever the yajnas or varnas were there, it was very difficult to understand it. This gave a rise to emphasize worship particularly, means the people started worshipping differently. Okay, and the religious emphasis or emphasized discrimination among the caste system. Means this was the basic the caste system started, means dividing the caste system, it started from here only. Okay, and so the individuals put uplift themselves, means whatever the upliftment of the individuals were there, so they started believing in someone, and it was shown or it was seen by the Vardhaman Mahavir and Gautam Buddha, and they had some special importance of new thoughts. Means whatever the thoughts among the people, or people should understand very easily how to live a life. So these thoughts were told by Vardhaman Mahavir and Gautam Buddha, and this was the introduction part. So in this chapter we are going to learn, that is 5.1, that is Jainism, 5.2, that is Buddhism, 5.3, that is Judaism, 5.4 Christianity, 5.5 Islam, and 5.6, that is Zoroastrianism. Okay, so these 6 points we are going to learn. So now moving towards the 5.1, that is about Jainism. Okay, now what is Jainism? Okay, Jainism is one of the ancient religion in India. Means this is the ancient religion in India. This religion gives importance to the principles of non-violence, means not harming to each other and living in very peaceful life. It was its principles. Okay, according to the Jain tradition, a person who reveals religious knowledge to known as is known as Tirthankar. Means whoever was taking this knowledge of Jainism, it was called as Tirthankar, and the 24th Tirthankar was one of them, that is his name is Vardhaman Mahavir, and the Jain religion's tradition started from here only. Means they all of the Jain people who are there, they believe in Vardhaman Mahavir. Now who was Vardhaman Mahavir? How he came to become a Tirthankar? What he got introduced, or what he got emphasized from its, we'll see his little bit descriptions, we'll see his what is her great goals, or what are the principles, and what is his teaching. So I before moving to that, one request is there to everyone that whatever you are watching this video, just slide your mobile, means not in a portrait manner, it should be a landscape, means uh, a horizontal way. Okay, keep the mobile in horizontal way that you can see it very easily. Okay, so Vardhaman Mahavir, he was uh, born in Kundagram, a part of Vaishali. His father's name was Siddhartha and his mother's name was Trishula. Now, a king's son, means Vardhaman Mahavir was a son of a king. Okay, and he was born in Kundagram, and it was the capital of Vaishali, and now this is situated, at presently it is situated in the state of Bihar. Okay, Vardhaman Mahavir left his home, all comforts from the enactments of knowledge. He attended enlightenment after the 12.5 years of rigorous tapa. This knowledge was pure or kevla. Now, at the age of 12.5 years, he left all his comforts and he started moving, means to live enlightenment or to gain knowledge about this Jainism. Okay, he conquered. Sorry, that this knowledge was pure or Kevla, therefore he was also known as Kevli. He was called Jina or conquer because the joy derived from physical comfort and discomfort fell due to undesired things had no impact whatsoever on him. The term Jain derives from the word Jina. Vardhaman Mahavir is said to be Mahavir because he had resilience, the courage to conquer all the passions. Now, Vardhaman Mahavir was called as, means he conquered over his courage, over his passion. Why they were telling like that? Because he left all the comfort life and he started gaining the knowledge, and he, whatever the physical comforts were there, he demolished, he all he threatenized, and then he started to gain the knowledge. After enlightenment of knowledge, he preached for about 30 years to explain the essence of religion to people. Now, after that 30 years, he preached the people about the religion, means how to live a life. He preached to them. To make it easy for people to understand, he spoke them in their language, means whatever the language was there, spoken by the people. So he started, means whatever he gained the knowledge, he gave in their mother tongue, means whatever the knowledge was given, then the mother to the people, he gave in the, or he spoke in his own language. Okay, and the religion that he expounded laid stress on good conduct. The essence of his teaching for good conduct, he contained the 5 great vows. Now he conduct a 5 great vows. Vows means what? Some principles he conducted. Okay, what are the principles we are going to see? Okay, so let's see the Panchas Mahavartas. There were the 5 goals or 5 principles, or the principles, or it might be say 5 rules of Vardhaman Mahavir. What it was? Ahimsa. So what is first one? That is, first one is Ahimsa, non-violence. Second one, Satya, that is truth. Only speak the truth, or every speech and action should be true, means whatever you are doing, it should be true. Third, it is Asteya, non-stealing. Asteya means theft, taking what belongs to others without their consent in their theft or stealing, means not stealing anything, means you have to not steal anything of others. So this was the main. The fourth, it was apragya. Apragya means non-attachment. Man tends to emulate property due to greed. Means whatever the property of the people or the material things of the people and the place, it should you should not have a greedy attitude in them. And fifth one, that is brahmacharya. Okay, the brahmacharya means the sexual monogamous. It means living a bodily pleasure and following. Okay, you should live your body with very pleasure, very nice feelings. So these were the principles, or these were the rules by Vardhaman Mahavir gave to us. Okay, so now also you should focus on that. We should have non-violence, means in us we should have non-violence. Non-violence means not fighting with each other. We should speak truth. We should not steal anything sexually, and you should not have a greed in among us. Okay, now we are going to see the next thing, that is three ratnas, the three jewels. Now he also gave a three jewels. Okay, these were the five rules or the five principles, and again three rules it was, or again three principles it was there. The Sanmaika Darshan, right faith; Sanmaika Jan, right knowledge; Sanmaika Charitra, right conduct. Sanmaika means balance. Now what is meant by Sanmaika? So Sanmaika means to be balanced. You should be balanced, means your faith should be balanced, your knowledge should be balanced, and your conduct should be balanced. Okay, now Sanmaika Darshan, to understand the truth in the preaching of Tirthankars and have to faith in it, means whatever the preachings were there of this Tirthankars, it should be in very faithful manner. Okay, now Jan, the second point, Jhana, knowledge. The studying the preaching and philosophy of Tirthankars regularly and learning in deep meaning, means whatever the Jainism's teaching are there or the philosophy are there, you should learn regularly, and it should be learnt in a very deep or a very meaningful manner. And the third thing is Sanmaika Charitra, strictly following five great vows, means whatever the vows are there, whatever the rules are there, you should follow very strictly. Now we are going to see what are the teachings of Vardhaman Mahavir. Among the teachings of Mahavir, Ekantavada is considered to be very important in the quest for truth. Means whatever the teaching it was there, it was a name called Ekantavada. It is considered for very truth. It means pluralism or multiply viewpoints. Okay, and Vardhaman Mahavir taught people the greatest of man does not depend on his varna but on his excellent conduct. Means whatever the man should be depend, means it is not depend on varna, it is depend on his excellent. Okay, in the Vedic tradition, the doors of the knowledge had slowly been closed to women. Means whatever the knowledge were given to the women, where after in the Vedic period or after the in the Vedic traditions, it was being closed for the women. Okay, but Vardhaman Mahavir gave the right of sannyas, the right to renounce the world to women too. His teaching were loving all living things, have mercy and compassion, and live and let it live. Now these were the what were the teachings of Mahavir. What he said, what he told, that love all things, means whatever you are loving, you should love all things. Have mercy and compassion, means whatever you are doing, do it very courageously, and you should have mercy. Live it and let it live, means live with the people or let them give a prosperous life also. Okay, so now I'll move to the 5.2, that is Buddhism. Okay, what is Buddhism? Buddhism spreads in India and in many countries outside India. Gautam Buddha was the founder of Buddhism. Now, who was the founder of Buddhism? The founder of Buddhism was Gautam Buddha, and the Buddhism spread all over the India and outside India too. Now we'll learn about the Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha's period was 563 BC to 483 BC. BC means before Christ. Okay. Gautam Buddha. Now see, where was the Gautam Buddha born? Gautam Buddha was born at Lumbini in Nepal. His father's name was Sudu Sudhona and mother's Maya Devi. His birth name was Siddhartha. He attained knowledge of human life in its eternity. Now, see, the original name of Gautam Buddha was Siddhartha. Okay, and he also attended the knowledge of human life in his eternity. Means whatever the knowledge he was getting, he also went in his eternity. That is why he came to known as the Buddha. So because of that only he was known as Buddhas. Okay. He wanted to know why there is sorrow and suffering in humans' life. Means see, Gautam Buddha had one curiosity in his mind while he was living, why the human beings are suffering from sorrows and why the human life is suffering from sorrows. Means he had a big question in this mind. He left his home and all comfort he purest to of the answers to this question. Now he also, like same how Vardhaman Mahavir left everything and went, so like that also Gautam Buddha also started, or he left his all his comfort and he walked away to find the answers of this question. On Vishakha Purnima, he was sitting in a deep meditation under a people tree at Urvila near the city of Gaya in Bihar. Then that is when he attended Bodhi, enlightenment or the highest knowledge. The tree is known as Bodh tree, Bodh Vriksha, and the place Urvila is known as Bodhaya. Okay. Now see, when Gautam Buddha started walking for to find the answers on Buddha Purnima, on Vishakha, there was a Purnima. He sat under a deep meditation under the people tree. He sat down and he was enlightened at the highest knowledge. Means he also got the highest knowledge, and now the tree is known as Buddha tree also. Now whatever the where he sought, where he sat and he did meditation, so that place is called as Buddha tree. Okay, you can see how the Gautam Buddha is sitting and the tree, the down picture. Okay, he delivered his first sermon to Sarnath near Varanasi. So where he delivered his first sermon. First sermons means what? His first speech or his enlightenment, or his started giving the knowledge, the first teaching. Okay, are trained Dhamma. He set in the position the wheel of Dhamma in this sermon. Therefore, this event is called as Dhamma Chakra Patwan. In Pali, the Dhamma Chakra Paratwan in Sanskrit. Later, he travelled on foot Charikya for nearly 45 years. Now, see, whatever this sermon was there, whatever his teaching was there, are termed Dhamma. Means whatever he taught, that is called Dhamma. Therefore, this event means the first event, or that event was called as Dhamma Chakra Parivarta. So whatever the Dhamma Chakra Parivarta in Pali, okay, means Pali is the oldest language, and in Sanskrit it is told that Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Okay, what is Dharma Chakra Parivartana? Means you have to convert into the Buddhism. Okay, he preached in the people's language Pali. Now see, Gautam Buddha and Vardhaman Mahavir, both of them taught the people in their own language, means whatever the language is understood by the people, it was taught in that language by both of these. Gautam Buddha taught his teaching in the language that is called as Pali. Okay. So we'll move to the noble truths. Okay, what are the noble truths of the Gautam Buddha? There are the four noble truths. To live means to suffer. Okay, dukkha means the first noble. It is called as dukkha, suffering. There is suffering in human life. The second, that is the cause of dukkha. There is a cause of suffering. Dukkha nirvana means to have a relaxation. It is impossible to end suffering, means whatever the suffering of the man is there, it is never ending. And the fourth one is pratipad. Pratipad means the way. This way leads to the end of suffering. This is the way of good conduct. It is known as ashtagi or eightfold path. Now, whatever his teachings or whatever his noble truths were there, he told that it means to suffer, means whatever the suffering is there of human life, and there is a cause of suffering. The third point, it is impossible to end suffering, means whatever the suffering of the human man, it is never ended. Now we'll see the Panchashilas of Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha asked people to follow 5 rules. The rules called Panchashila, means whatever the rules or whatever the 5 things were told by Gautam Buddha to the people, or the rules, it was called as Panchashila. The first one, stay away from killing animals, means you should stay away from killing the animals. Stay away from stealing, means you have to not steal anything. Stay away from unethical conduct. Stay away from telling lies. Stay away from toxinants, means whatever the you might know that what is intoxinant and unethical. Okay, telling lies. See, whatever the teachings of Vardhaman Mahavir and Gautam Buddha are nearby same, they also both told that, see, you have to not steal anything or you should not tell lie. Okay, always speak truth and you should not tell lie. Okay. So the next point we are going to move, that is Judaism. Okay. Now what is okay, the teachings, we are going to see the Buddha's teachings. Now what the Gautam Buddha's teachings were there? The Gautam Buddha announced the freedom of human intelligence. He refused the discrimination based things like varnas. So he also, the first teaching was he announced the freedom of human intelligence, means he announced the freedom of human intelligence. Second thing, he refused the discrimination based things like varna. Now whatever the varnas you have seen in the 4th chapter in the Vedic civilization, so he also refused that no one is greater or smaller by birth. Now he told the another thing in his teaching, he told that no one is greater or no one is smaller by his birth. The greatness depends on one's behavior or conduct. Now whatever the greatness is depend of the human being, it is on his behavior. Okay. On his famous quote is that even the little quail can creep freely in her nest. Now whatever the little quail is can creep freely in her nest, or he can move in her nest. This shows his thinking on the values of freedom and equality. Now these things is showing us the freedom and equality. He preached that like men and women too had the right of their own upliftment, means he also gave importance to the both, that is men and human being also. For all living beings was an extraordinary feature of his personality. Now whatever the personality it was very extraordinary. The tolerance preached by Gautam Buddha is guiding principle not only for the Indian society but for all mankind even today. Now, whatever the teachings of Gautam Buddha are there, it is guiding principles not only to Indian society, means not only to India, but all mankind even today, means even today also we should follow, or we are following these rules in our day-to-day life. Okay, now we'll move the teaching to to the Judaism. Okay, so what is Judaism? People belonging to Jewish religion may have arrived in Kochi in Kerala around the 1st to 3rd century of the Christianity era. Now see, the people of Jewish or the Jewish religions, they may have arrived, means it is not confirmed that they have arrived in 1st or in 3rd century, but they don't know in Kochi in Kerala, but it was a beginning of Christianity era. They believe that there is only one God. So what are the teachings of the Judaism? They believe that there is only one God. Judaism emphasize justice. What it emphasizes means, what it tells us, that is justice, truth, peace, love, compassion, humility, charity, ethical speech, and self-respect. Their prayer house is known as Sanagoya. Okay, now you can see the picture of Sanagoya, which is there in the slide. So whatever it is preaching, or whatever the teachings of the Judaism, it is literally based, what is it is based on? That is justice. Okay, justice, truth, peace, love, compassion, humility, charity, and ethical speech, and respect their prayers, and self-respect, and their prayer house is known as Sayogya. So I am little bit zooming it so you can get a clear idea. Okay, so now you can see it. Okay, I think so it is very clear to you. Now you can see very clearly. So the where we were, the Judaism. Okay, so see students, whatever the teachings of Vardhaman Mahavir, whatever the teachings of Gautam Buddha, and now Judaism, it is telling one all, or these teachings are literally interconnected with each other. They are telling us that is, first one is justice, truth, peace, love, compassion, charity, and self-respect. Now whatever these things are there, we are following these things now only. See, it is told in the 1st or in the 3rd century, it is told that, and still now we are following that only. Means whatever we are following, justice we are following truth also, peace, where everyone is living in, everyone wants peace and harmony, loving to one another. Okay, so like this, all the teachings of this the great men or the lords, we are really following now also. See how important their teaching were there, means how important knowledge they got from. Okay, they gain very great knowledge, and they told us how should a man live a peaceful, a joyful, and a respectful life. Now we'll move to the 5.4, that is Christianity. Okay, so you have known a little bit about Christianity because in our school many programs are going on, goes on. So 5.4, that is Christianity. Christianity is a religion founded by Jesus Christ. Okay, you know that the Christianity is founded by the Jesus Christ. It was spread all over the world. Saint Thomas, one of the 12 disciples of Christ, came to Kerala in the 1st century of the Christian era. He established a church at Pelura in Trichura district in 52 CE. According to the teachings of Christianity, there is only one God. Now see, this Christianity, the Jesus Christ is having 12 disciples, and one of the disciples, that his name is Saint Thomas, he came to Kerala and he established a church near Trichura district. In Trichura district, okay, wait, I will just move on. He moved, I think so now you are able to see. Okay. Okay, so he moved to Trichura district in, or he established a church at Palura in Trichura district in 52 CE. Okay, and according to the Christianity, means according to the Christianity teaching, there is it is told that there is only one God. He is the loving Father of all, is of all, and his appointment. It is believed that Jesus Christ is the Son of God who came on the earth for the salvation of mankind. According to the teaching of Christianity, we all are brothers and sisters. We should love everyone, including our enemies. We should forgive those who are or go wrong. The Bible is the holy book of Christianity, and their prayer house is known as church. Now see, in Christianity, the teaching of Christianity, it is told that there is only one God, and in the teaching, it is told that we should be, or we are all brothers and sisters, and we should love everyone, even our enemies also we should learn. We should love them, and whatever the mistake is there, you should forgive them. Okay, now I will move to the second last point, that is about Islam. So I think so you know about Islam very well. So 5.4, I have given some in the Islams. Okay, you can see in the pictures also whatever it is there, and the downside it is about the Zoranism. Okay, so both teachings and about the Islams and about the Zoranism I have told. Just I will tell you know everybody. Islam is a monostatic religion. There is only one Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet. Okay, you know that. The message of God is revealed through him. The holy book of Quran Shafi was, the word Islam means peace. It also means surrender to Allah. Now you know what is the meaning of Islam, means it is means peace, and Allah means surrender. It also means surrender to Allah also. Okay. The purpose of human existence is to worship Allah. The Quran Sharif provides guidance how man should behave in life. Now see, the Quran also tells us how should a man should behave in his life. Since ancient times, there have been trade relation between India and Arab traders used to visit the post or the port of Kerala. Islam spread in Arabia in 7th century. Islam arrived in India in the same century through the Arab trades. The prayer house of Islam is known as a mosque or masjid. Now see, you know that how the Islam or the trade relation was going between the Arabs and our India, and through that on the coast of Kerala, the Islam started spreading in the 17th century in India. And as you know, you do your prayers, or the Islamic do their prayers in mosque and or in masjid. Okay, now we'll move to that is the next point, that is the last point of the lesson, that is Zoranism. Okay, if I am zooming, it is getting little bit disturbed over, or the image it is a little bit. Okay, now you can see. Okay, so I will just a little bit do like that. Do in normal position. Okay, you can see. Since ancient times, the Zoranism people and the Vedic people have shared ties. Means this Zoranism is from the ancient time from the Vedic period or the Vedic peoples. The people is Avesta. The language of Rig Veda and Avesta is similar. Now, whatever the language of the Zoranism is same as Rig Veda and Avesta. Avesta is similar. So whatever the language it is very similar. The Parsis came to India from the Pars or Fars provisions of Iraq. Now this is the Zoroastrianism. It is based on Parsi people, and these people came from Iran or the Paras or Fars. It is called as the provisions of the Iraq. Therefore, they are known as Parsis. It is mostly believed that they first came to Gujarat in 8th century. Now see, when they came to Gujarat, they came in 8th century. The Zoroastra or the Zoroaster was the founder of the religion, Ahur Mazat. Now see, Ahur Mazat is the name of their god. Now what is the name of the Zoroastrianism god? That is Ahur Mazda. The elements of fire and water are very important in their religion. Now see, what is important in their religion, that is fire and water. It is very important. The scared fire burns in the temples which are known as Agrayas. At the core of Parsis thinking are the three main principles of conduct, namely good thoughts, good words and good deeds. So now you can see here in the picture also, or in the slide also, I have little bit given your ideas. You can get a clear idea about that. So what are the principles of Zoroastrianism? So Zoroastrianism principles are, the main principles are good thoughts, good words and good deeds. Means whatever your thoughts should be good, whatever you speak, your words should be good, and whatever your deeds means whatever your behaving towards the people, it should be very nicely, very efficiently. Okay, so now just I will recall once more time. Okay, so you can get a clear idea about the religious trade in ancient India. So it is very difficult to understand it. So we'll just have a quick a quick revision all over the slides, and you can get a clear idea about the religious and the trade. So in the beginning, so as is in the lesson, the people of the common people were not understanding about the knowledge what is gained by the yagyas, and it was very difficult to understand the common people. So the Vardhaman Mahavir and Gautam Buddhas introduced their new thoughts to the people, and how the people should live their life in a very peaceful and very in a ruled manner the life should be. Now Vardhaman Mahavir was he started his doing career, or whatever the period of Vardhaman Mahavir was 599 BC to 527 BC. Okay, he was a son of a king known as Siddhartha. Okay, he also left all his life, all his comfort, and went to have the empowerment or the enlightenment of the knowledge. He also spoke in his own mother tongue, that is Ardhamagadi. So the people's language, so whatever the people's language was there, he spoke. What he spoke, he told his 5 rules about him, that is non-violence, you should speak truth, non-stealing, non-attachment, and you should have a living a bodily life, means a pleasure bodily life you should live. Okay, so and he also told that whatever your teachings are there, means whatever the Tirthankars you are learning, or you are taking the knowledge of Jainism, it should be very truth. Second thing, it should be very philosophy, and you should learn very deeply. And the third point, it is whatever the vows are there, whatever the rules are there, you should follow very strictly. And he also told that in his teaching, love all things, have mercy and compassion, and live and let it live. Okay, now moving towards the Gautam Buddha. The Gautam Buddha was also born in very well-known family. He also had a very comfort family. Then too, Gautam Buddha's name was Siddhartha. He also left his life, left his home, and he was in the question why the human beings are having sorrow and sufferings, why people are having sorrow and why they are suffering from this life. So he also had a question. So he also went to find that answer, and on the Purnima he did meditation near the under the people tree. Okay, and whatever this sermon was, it was called as Dharma Chakra Parivartan in Sanskrit, and it is in Pali it is called as Dhamma Chakra Pavantana. Okay, so it is little bit different in Pali and it is little bit different in Sanskrit. And he also had his four noble rules. That is, what is its four noble rules? There is suffering in human life. There is causes of suffering. Third one, it is impossible of end of suffering, and the way leads to end of suffering. Okay, and he also told the 5 rules or the Panchashilas were told by Gautam Buddha. That is, stay away from killing animals, means whatever the animals is there, you should stay away. Second point, stay away from stealing, stay away from unethical conduct, stay away from telling lies, and stay away from intoxicant. Okay, and he also told, or it was, or the Gautam Buddha also did not have any discrimination among anything. He told that the greatness of people depends on the behavior of the people. Okay, and whatever the teaching are there, or whatever the principles are there, it is not only for the Indian society, but it is all for the mankind also. Now we'll move to the 5.3, that is Judaism. Judaism also teaches, it teaches humanity, charity, ethical speech, self-respect, and how to love one another. And this Judaism is arrived in the century, that is 1st century, or it might be in 3rd century in Cochin, Kerala. Moving to the 5.4, that is Christianity. The Christianity started spreading by Saint Thomas. It was a disciple. He was the 12th disciple. He came to Kerala in 1st century, and from there the Christianity started. And in Christianity, the teachings of Christianity are, it is told that there is only one God and all we are brothers and sisters. We should love everyone, one another, and we should love our enemies too. Moving towards the 5.5, that is Islam. Islam is a monotheistic religion. There is only one Allah and Muhammad and his prophet. Okay, and the holy book, it is called as Quran Sharif. And the purpose of human existence in worship to Allah. The Quran Sharif also provides guidance how man should behave in his life, and Quran also tells us how a man should behave in his life. And it was spread in 7th century in Arab countries. Okay, and the people of Islamic religions go for the prayer in mosque or masjid. Now coming to the last point, that is 5.5, that is Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is a Parsi religion. It is came from Iran, and there are also 3 main principles are there, that is good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. So I hope you understand the chapter very easily. Okay, if you have any doubts, any difficulties, you can go through this video 1 time or 2 time, and then you can have and then you can understand it very nicely. Okay, so thank you everyone. Stay safe at home and be safe. Okay, there is one video for you. Okay, just listen.